Welcome to the Kat Nelson Show. I'm the one and only Kat Nelson, MMA fighter out of Orlando, Florida. You can join me on my journey to becoming the baddest bantamweight fighter in the world by following me on social at Katno11. This episode is brought to you by Black Lab Organics, all natural and organic dog treats. Our goal at Black Lab Organics is to create CBD-infused dog treats with real ingredients, because we believe that dogs deserve better. Follow us on social at Black Lab Organics or visit our website, blacklaborganics.com. Use discount code CAT10 to get 10% off your next order. Crazy about fights? The Fight Bananas podcast is all fight news and everything fight related. Follow them on social at Fight Bananas Official. You can also tune in on YouTube, all podcast platforms, and iHeartRadio. I train about 5 to 6 days a week, and as a fighter, I understand the importance of recovery. Fusion CBD products always has my back. I use their CBD oil every morning in my coffee and their CBD balms after trainings and before bed. And just like that, I feel brand new, ready to take on the next day. Follow them on social at Fusion CBD Products or visit their site fusioncbdproducts.com. New Dimensions Wellness Studio is a premium health, wellness, and performance center that combines cutting-edge technology with ancient wisdom. Every visit I make to New Dimensions, I leave feeling like a brand new woman. Whether you're an athlete that wants to excel in performance, undergoing rehab from an injury, or just want to take care of yourself, they will guide you to all your needs. Follow them on social at nd_wellness or visit their site mynewdimension.com. Just Blaze Clothing is South Florida's #1 source of clothing for the cannabis community. They sell all types of apparel, accessories, and rolling trays, perfect for any stoner dude or stoner babe. Check them out on social at Just Blaze Clothing or on their website, justblazeclothing.com. Use discount code CAT10 to get 10% off your next order. The law offices of Daniel Martinez has got your back. Daniel Martinez is a criminal defense attorney who fights in court and in the cage. Shut up and lawyer up with the law offices of Daniel Martinez. Follow them on social at martinez.law.321 or their website martinez.law. Never stop, never quit. Support local fighters with Team Reaper. Team Reaper creates personal fight apparel just so fighters can make profit. I have my own fight apparel you can purchase on the website reaper1.co. You can also follow them on social at Team Reaper1. By purchasing my shirt, you will not only be supporting me, you will also be supporting this podcast, other fighters, and Rue Camp Champs, a youth crime prevention organization in my hometown, Orlando, Florida. Rue Camp Champs' mission is to get youth off of the streets and teach them martial arts. You can also donate to Rue Camp Champs at kidsmma.org.
And the hemoglobin.
Oh, big shot, spinning back fist by right hand. And that's
all.
She
Wow.
wrote. That's a wrap, son. Cat.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Kat Nelson Show. I am Kat Nelson and I am joined by UFC flyweight, mom, wife, and animal lover, Lauren Murphy. How are you doing today, Lauren?
Hey, thank you. Hey, I can hear you, but it is super garbled. Last time. Oh, that's perfect. Now I can hear
Better? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
you. Okay,
Cool. How are you doing?
good. Thank you. Speaking of being an animal lover, we got the whole crew.
Nice. Yes, I love dogs. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But you are currently on a 4-fight win streak. You're number 3 in the division. You're very deserving of that title fight. And also this past weekend, congratulations on winning that no-gi submission belt. How was that?
That was super fun. It was really cool. Like the submission only
Right.
stuff isn't really my thing, so it was kind of a big step out of my comfort zone and learning
Right.
like leg locks. And the girl that
hmm
I'm with is a super good brown belt. So I was really happy to have such like good top pressure, and it's always fun to win a belt. So yeah.
Yeah.
One way or another.
Nice. Yeah. MMA, grappling, and wrestling and jiu-jitsu are like very different. And I know that a lot of those competitions, these girls like live, breathe, eat jiu-jitsu. So
Yeah.
it's good. I know consistency is really big with you. Is that like competing outside of the UFC? Are you trying to be consistent with that?
I think it's good for me. I mean, it's not something that like I'd want to do too much of, like I don't need to compete every other week or something, but
Right.
doing competitions like that, I think are, sorry, can you hear her squeaking her toy?
Nah, it's all good.
She has a talent for doing that whenever I'm doing an interview.
Yeah. She's
Hey,
like, pay attention to me.
she only does it when I start doing interviews. I think it is good to compete in that stuff. And I did have a lot of fun. And I think
Right.
the best thing is that you always get better right after you compete. Like when
Definitely.
there's like this peak period for a couple weeks where their learning curve and everything is just super steep. So yeah, it definitely helps you get better in whatever area it is that you can compete in.
Right. Yeah, it shows like areas that you need to work on and keeps you ready. Do you have any other hobbies that you do outside of MMA or anything mixed martial arts related?
Not really. Most of it is just like training and eating and sleeping
Right.
with my dogs. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
that's enough. I play with my dogs and I play the guitar sometimes, but I really suck at it and I only practice like intermittently, and so I wouldn't
That's
say I
cool though.
play the guitar, but I want to take like lessons. I wish COVID kind of shut everything down, but
Right.
some places that offer like in-person lessons, so maybe I could just go like once a week and learn to play the guitar.
That'd be pretty dope. But yeah, Lauren, you're definitely an inspiration. Like you inspire me, you inspire other women in the sport and women in general. You've been grinding for about 10 years, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've had the toughest fights. From what I've seen, you're very respectful and you love the sport, but you know how to put on a show and be gritty and aggressive. And I love seeing that in a woman fighter. But I'm curious, why did you start fighting? Did you have like for me, for example, I'm an amateur fighter in the very beginning of my career. And it's brought me a lot of confidence and constantly challenging myself. So why did you start fighting?
Yeah, no, I mean, pretty similar. When I was a kid, like I used to watch like all the old Jean-Claude Van Damme movies and stuff, and
Uh-huh.
I always like kind of dreamed about fighting a little bit, but just I was never an athlete. It was never really in the cards. Like,
Right.
didn't really think it was for me. I thought it was one of those dreams, the way you think about like dreaming about being a rock star.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Like, so I don't know. And then when my son was born, well, not when he was born, he was like 8.
Mm-hmm.
And I took him to a martial arts school. I was like, oh, it's got so many benefits, and I wish I had done this when I was a kid. So
Yeah,
I took him to a jiu-jitsu school, and I just I did the class like with him, and I just loved it. I started going all the time. I had never experienced anything like that. I like loved being part of a team. I liked competition. I liked like competing with girls on the mats. Everybody that like I rolled with was like, "Oh my God, you're so strong. Like you should really,
yeah,
you're going to be really good." Like people were complimenting me right away. And it made me want to be like a healthier person, like
right.
after a couple months, I stopped smoking cigarettes. I stopped drinking. Like I really got a lot healthier as my career started. Like the further and further we got into it. So yeah,
Right.
it just changed my whole life. I started doing jujitsu first before MMA, but it changed everything.
Yeah, that's cool how that was like you found that out through your son. Did you have, because I know like amateur was not a thing back then, so did you have an amateur career?
No, I went straight pro. I didn't even know what that was. Like if you
Yeah,
me like, oh, you should do an amateur fight, I'd be like, what are you talking about? Like
right.
I didn't get it. I didn't understand why people would even do that. I was like, why would you want to do a fight and not get paid? So
Right.
I met some people like after a couple years of fighting, I met some people that were like outside Alaska that had amateur careers. And I remember
Right.
asking one guy in particular, like, why would you do that? Like, why be an amateur? You don't get paid the
Mhm.
order, like what, I don't understand what the point is. And now I know it's to get experience. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like building
Yeah.
experience. And then when you go pro, you actually look like a pro, you know?
Right.
but I just didn't get it for the longest time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so I think like women's MMA has definitely exploded in the last few years, especially with like Ronda Rousey come up and all that. Um but it's still, so yeah, I think that's why we're able to have amateur, pro, and all this stuff, just because there are more women in the sport and there are more women in sports in general in history.
Yeah.
But it's still hard. Like for me, we have a handful of girls at the gym, and then to find fights, it's actually pretty difficult still. So was it the same 10 years ago, or was it even worse, even harder?
Way worse because
Yeah,
like actually up until Invicta came along, it was pretty crazy. Like Invicta really changed a lot of stuff, but yeah,
right.
could not find fights. They were fighting up and down weight classes, like either cutting a shitload of weight or usually or fighting up like 2 or 3 weight classes and weight classes they didn't belong in, fighting people way out of their experience level.
Mhm.
It was really like women's MMA was a wreck. I was lucky when I came up because there was like 4 or 5 of us in Alaska, and we were all
Yeah.
like 20 pounds of each other, and we all fought each other. And so
Okay.
that was like the beginning of my pro career, but it could have very well been an amateur career, like
Yeah.
the level of fights and how the amount of training that we all had, like they were amateur level fights. So
Right.
I just happened to come up at a time when there were other women in Alaska that were willing to get in the cage. But Invicta came along, and man, they straightened everything out because they put everybody, they had
Mhm.
classes for everybody, and all these girls were able to fight in their own weight class, and then they were able to find like the same experience level opponents. And that's when stuff really started to change, was after like Invicta 1 and 2 and 3.
Right, right. Cool. Well, I've seen you fight, obviously. You're a smart fighter, you're logical about competition, you're calculated. And I know for you that's not only physically, it's also mentally, like staying mentally 100%. And I know that about 3 years ago, you changed your whole mindset to becoming a more positive person. And I just want to kind of like dip into that a little bit. So, um, what like practices do you do besides like meditation, and why did you decide to make that change in your life?
Um, well, I decided to make the change because um I was just really stressed out all the time, like super stressed. Always felt like I was like having conflict with people. I was always like mad about something,
Right,
or I'd be sad, like I don't know, just in a bad mood. And I don't know, I grew up in a house that was really, really like negative, like
right, mm-hmm.
everything's the end of the world, everything's bad, the worst is going to happen, only focusing on the negative stuff. And so I really grew up like that, like just it was super hard to change, but I started to kind of see it going on around me. And like um yeah, I don't really know like what made me realize fully that like I had to have an attitude change, but I did. I started meditating, and that was like the first thing that helped. And I changed my diet, and that helped a lot too.
Yeah,
I was really surprised that when I stopped eating so much processed food, I felt like a happier person.
right, yeah,
Yeah, is that's and I've talked to so many people that have experienced that. So like, yeah, diet, meditation, practicing gratitude. Like I have a gratitude journal, and so I'm not super consistent with all of it, but like these are just some tools that I use. Um,
yeah,
I'll like write down 3 things every day that I'm grateful for. I'll even like get friends in on it. Like sometimes I'll text one of my friends stuff that I'm grateful for, and she'll text me back, or like I'll ask Joe like, "What are you grateful for today?"
mm-hmm.
I think gratitude's a big part of it too. And then yeah, when I started changing my attitude, I realized like all this stuff around me started to change, but it was my attitude first that was different. And then
Right,
it was like I started branching out. I started training in different places. We ended up moving. I changed my whole team. I got all new.
mm-hmm.
We like moved across the country. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Everything started to change after that. But yeah, my attitude was first.
Right, yeah. So we have no control of external circumstances. It's the way we approach them and react to them, and attitude adjustment. So we've definitely learned that in 2020, and I know that you've learned, anything is possible, and you've had a great year. So that's good for you. Also, this podcast is about cannabis awareness, and I know you're pro cannabis. It's come a long way. It still has the stigma behind it. The UN officially labeled it a medicine, and I just want to know if it's personally helped you, or if you've witnessed it help others, and was it part of your positive mindset transformation in the past few years?
It might have been part of it. So like I'm an addict. I think a lot of people know that about my story, that like I really
Okay.
like a lot of hard drugs, and especially
Right.
pills. And I was totally sober, completely 100% sober for a long time. And then a few years ago, like around like 2014, 2015, when I would fight, I would go to the doctor and I would get painkillers afterward. And I don't know, I wasn't like taking them all the time, but I was taking them, and I was really afraid that I was going to end up like taking pills again. And it was just, it wasn't out of hand yet, but I know myself, and I know what I was doing. Like, I know that I didn't need to be getting painkillers like from the dentist, doctor and stuff. And so, I don't know. I got kind of freaked out, and I was like, man, I don't want to go back down that road.
Yeah.
I talked to like my family about it, and I talked to my husband about it, and I started using cannabis, and it was medically legal in Arizona. So I went and got my, and I was a little freaked out to like start using it, because I used to smoke it all the time when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Oh my God, like, all that stuff that you're told, like it's a gateway drug and it might
Exactly. Yeah.
oh my God, what if I end up like a total piece of shit again, like I used to be, But I tried it. I started smoking it, and you know what? I have not taken a painkiller since. And
That's amazing.
yeah, like, and I don't even really think about painkillers. I just don't. It doesn't cross my mind. I sleep a lot better. I think it has improved my mood a lot. It helps me kind of like step outside the drama that I create sometimes,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's given me, I think, a lot more objective view about stuff going on around me. So I think it's definitely helped. And, the one thing I was really worried about was like me being an addict. Like, is this going to like ruin my life, And not at all. It hasn't. Like, my marriage is better than ever. Obviously, my career is taking off. I've had one of the best years of my life this year. I feel great. So, yeah, I don't think it's been a problem for me at all.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. So, yeah, you've had a great year. You're making history. I know you want to shoot for a title fight against Valentina, and just keep doing your thing. Keep up with that positive mindset, and keep inspiring people. Did you want to shout anybody out before we go, or do you have a business on the side that you would like to promote or anything?
Nope. All I do is MMA, but you can find me at Lauren Murphy MMA. I'm on Twitter and Instagram. And I'm pretty interactive with the fans usually. So on my bios, both my bios, there's a link to buy a t-shirt, and the t-shirt says "Make Your Own Luck." It's got my signature on the sleeve. They're really nice t-shirts too, but I don't make any money off of them. But
Okay, nice.
no, the proceeds go to two things. So all the proceeds, one goes to funding a documentary that we're making about like my journey to the title and stuff like that here in Houston, and kind of the unique team that I have around me. And the rest of the proceeds go to a women's shelter here in Bend County. So
it's very, very noble.
Yeah, you get good karma, and you get a cool t-shirt, and so
yeah, so I'll post your link to your Instagram and Twitter, and if you want to send me that our website link, I can go ahead and post that too.
Okay, cool.
Also, if you could send me an address, that I have a all natural and organic dog treat business.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, so if that's part of your dog's diet, it's all natural organic treats, so I can go ahead and send you a little package. It's called Black Lab Organics.
Okay, cool. Hell yeah. For sure.
So yeah. All right, Lauren. Well, thank you so much. It was an honor having you on here. And yeah, guys, that's Lauren Murphy. We'll see you guys next week, Thursday, 7 p.m. Bye, Lauren.
Thanks a
Yeah,
lot.
no problem. Bye.